Good afternoon. Good afternoon. This is Jamie Green again for the Let's Talk Destiny podcast and the Mother's Cry organization. And today I am joined by my number one um, Prince. And this Black History Month, well, the month that's been set aside and recognizes Black History Month, we want to share some information with you and to really help us to get down to the reality of who we are, where we come from, and why we celebrate, not during a designated amount of time, but why we celebrate ourselves. And I would like for my prince to give us some background, some information on, first of all, where the term Black came from, and to give us more information about our true identity. All right. Welcome back to the platform, sweetie.
Yeah, thanks for having.
All right. So, talk to us about this word Black. There's a big thing going on about the Black History Month celebration and how the current administration wants to take it off the calendar from a federal standpoint, so forth and so on. And so, some people are up in arms about that. But let's talk about number one, where that word Black comes from, and why that really should not be an issue to us, whether or not they allow us to celebrate what we've accomplished, but that we should just do it because of who we are. What is our true identity?
Okay, so our true identity, um, again, we know throughout the ancient time as people evolve more as human beings, and we take on different titles and tribal names or nation names. So throughout time, we have been known as Lemurians. We have been known as Kemetans, which would be what is contemporarily or modernly called Egypt now. We have been known as Kushites, the Empire of Kush. We have been known as the Druids, the Celtics, the Doves of Ireland. All of these people are, in fact, us, meaning people with highly melanated skin tone. Also, the original Danes and the original Vikings were in fact Moors, meaning those who had highly melanated skin. So even the Greeks themselves, the word Mori, and sometimes you will see it spelled Maure, Mori. And then, of course, the Romans came after the Greeks. And whenever they saw highly melanated skin, they would use the term more or mori, meaning more. So we find this term all throughout time. Now we see Moor, more. So during even slavery times, you find some people, they would say the more. And you see some of our people now with the last name Moore or Morris, or even the governor of the state of Maryland right now, his name is Wes Moore. So you would trace this back down, his bloodline through slavery, they were referring to the Moors. Now, before slavery is what we're referring to now when we're talking about these are, in fact, ancient ethnic or national or tribal names. Like our tribe, the Andesite, this refers to the ancient ones, and so forth and so forth. The original Olmecs. The Olmecs, these are the heads that were found in Mesoamerica, near the Yucatan Peninsula. And when you see these big heads that they date back to like 5,000 BC, you will see that their features are in fact ours. And the Olmec people, these are the ancestors of the Aztec and the Mayan groups. So even in Mesoamerica or Middle America, Central and South, these people now have become a little more pale, and they refer to themselves as Spanish. But in fact, this is not an identity, because Spanish means one who speaks the language of a Spaniard. And so since these people are indigenous to the American continent, because you have two American continents, you have the North American, South American, then you have what's referred to as the Isthmus, which is the central part, which makes Middle America. But even these people, they refer to them as Latino. Again, this is not an identity. Latino means one who speaks Latin, and it traces back to the root of the language. However, they're not Spanish. They're not Spaniards, because Spaniards are the people that are from Spain. So we know that these are the people, the Spaniards, Francisco Pizarro, Hernando Cortez. These are the Spaniards who invaded Middle America and South America in search of stealing silver and gold. So when these people came in and killed off the indigenous Olmec, or people before that, Anasazi, Moors, they then started giving them the name of Spanish and Negro. Negro is Latin for black. Now, when you go and take this up into North America, as we were going through the institutional enslavement of our people, this Negro became in English black, or Old English black. But it's important that we trace back the German original word of black. And again, you can spell this B-L-A-E-C. When you go and look up the etymology, the original usage of the word black, B-L-A-E-C. This is a Germanic word that in fact meant pale. So the original term for black is pale. This is when it was used again by the Germanic tribes when they were identifying themselves. Now, when you come into the 14th, 15th, 16th century, where you have Old English people, because their roots trace back to the Germanic tribes as well. Now, when you come forward in time a bit, and these same Albion or Englishmen, who were in fact the ones who came over, the so-called founding fathers of the United States of America Corporation, they used the term black as a status symbol. So black has never been an identity for our people, because human beings are not identified by colors. Human beings have never been identified by colors. In fact, we know even from elementary school, black is not even a color. Because when we look at the color spectrum, there are 7 colors. Black is not on it. And that's, again, easy to find out. Or anybody that's listening has to do. Go and look at the 7 elementary colors. You will not see black. Black has always had a status symbol, which means death. It means that we are civiler mortus. That is a law term meaning we are civilly dead. This is why you constantly find our people begging and marching for civil rights. We are the only people that has to keep marching and begging over and over for civil rights. And it's because lawfully, black people do not have rights because you're not even considered to be a living entity. So this black term is a creation of the slave master. And that's why it's important that our scholars and our intelligent brothers and sisters stop trying to make this word retroactive as if it was used in ancient times, because it was not. And we got to understand that when these Albions wrote up the Christian Black Codes of 1724 or any state policies and procedures that are used to this day, when we use the terms black, we have to understand it is not an identity, but it is a political status. And that is what deems how people would treat us when it comes to law and when it comes to legal matters. This is one of the reasons, truthfully, that you see our people always are at the bottom of the barrel. We never get certain rights and freedoms because we're always given privileges, because we continuously take this term black on as if it's an identity, while in fact it is a status that means we are civilly dead. And if these civil and rights attorneys and all of these super intelligent people who got all of these degrees from these colleges, there's one or two things going on here. One, they were taught these things that I'm telling you about that are easily researchable, and they were told to keep it hidden so our people could continuously be oppressed and be enslaved due to our ignorance. Or they don't know, and they're placing themselves above, the people as if they're the leaders, which would maybe be even worse because you're leading out of ignorance. So it's important that we understand, again, our identities are not black. And so when you talk about black history does in fact only go back into slavery days. Because again, a black person is a creation of the slave master. It was the things that they took away from us were our national identity and our spiritual systems. This is why in the Constitution, you see that when it refers to black people, it says that we are 3/5 of a man. 3/5. 3 is -2 of 5. Why are we considered 3/5 in their contract constitution? It's because they took away those two things, our nationality and our spiritual system, our creed. That is why they refer to us as 3/5 human beings. And so with all of these things being said, also you can go back when I say that these terms were not used for people before this slave era or this modern slave era. You can look into a German sociologist by the name of Johann von Blumenbach. And around 1795 to early 1800, you will see that he is the first scholar to go on the record in his writings and start using colors to identify human beings. He gave the 5 colors of black, white, red, yellow, and brown. Before this time, nobody referred to human beings as colors. We were always known as tribes or nations. And in this contemporary modern time, the strongest identity that we have, and you can find even in law and in history, in reference to the United States of America as a corporation, and also the lands of America to which we are indigenous. The identity that you will find recorded for that in modern times is Moor. We are Moorish. And so you hear some people say we are Moorish American, but we are not black.
Wow. That's a lot of very important and valuable information that I hope our people will accept, research. Like you say, you can look it up. You can find information if you're willing to look for it. And I think it will help us to understand also why there is a constant battle against our people for just about everything. Hardly nothing is given to us in this country or in any country for that matter. We have to really fight and march and protest and just do all kinds of extra to get things because they do not see us as human beings for number one. So they do not grant us the rights that they granted to European people. And so I think this is very important as we are arguing about not being able to celebrate Black History Month. I think we need to dig a little deeper and get more informed about who we are as a people, and then learn to take pride in ourselves and teach our children these things so that they too can have pride in who they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the next time we talk, I want to talk a little more about the ideology, and even I believe it's biological, the way some of these uh, non-melanated people act. I think I want to talk about that, and so we'll have that conversation during our next session as we go through this whole month, and talk about the comparisons and why people act the way they act towards us. So that's very important. But I want to end this recording before we run out of time. So again, I thank you so much for being willing to share this information with our people. And we look forward to the next episode where we can dig even a little deeper this month. So again, thank you so much for joining me here on this platform. And I love you forever and ever.
It's my pleasure. I love you too.
All right. Hold on one second.